Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
Yeah, no problem. This is Josh, right?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. This is John. I don't know if they told you, but I'm actually the drummer of the band. They wanted to make sure I was available for this interview.
Oh, yeah, I heard all about that. So it's and with that, thank you very much for being able to take the time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on in your world right now.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, kind of pumped about it. I'm off to work early, so that worked out.
Oh, awesome. And of course, there's so many great things that are going on musically with you right now. I mean, the fact that you got the attention of Century Media, and, you know, the last album is getting re-released through Century Media coming up in a few weeks on July 17th. It's just, with it being such a great album and now being able to hit more of the masses after so much acclaim from last year, it's just so cool to be able to see that.
Yeah, it's kind of wild seeing it. It's kind of, you know, we've been sitting with this album for a long time, actually. It took us a while to release it by ourselves, DIY, in the first place. So to us, it's kind of old, you know, the material's pretty old, but it's interesting to live through the first release and have that gain the momentum it has, and then seeing the second release come through, and it's like, it feels like a zombie rising again for us, for me at least. But yeah, it's really exciting to see people noticing it.
Oh yeah, and it's so well deserved too. I mean, especially when you look at what you guys have done since the first release and how much the band has been able to progress and sound better with every subsequent album. And you know, the fact that you guys have been sitting on this album for a while now, I mean, that's very exciting to see what you guys are going to be doing in the future now that you're a part of Century Media, and how the songs are going to be able to grow from that point on.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting to be able to just keep going. Honestly, our first record, I mean, if you listen to it, it's a kind of a folk metal album, and it's actually, Wilderun was my first band as a metal drummer, technically, like first a real band. So that recording, the Old and Tales and Deathly Trails, that was my first recording as a metal drummer. So I'm just excited to like, I don't know, continue on this journey. And obviously, I've been practicing as we go, and I feel like my blast beats are getting stronger as we go, and hopefully that shows, you know, from the first album to currently. So I'm excited to explore even further with you know, future material.
Oh, and I totally hear it too, and I love the fact that you're still working on blast beats and trying to get stronger with every release too, because when I listen to your playing, it's like I can hear so much color that's going on in your playing, with the fills, with cymbals, snare rolls, I mean, whatever the case is. I mean, of course, blasts are a good part of the band, but you're able to add so much more to that too, and make just the drums sound so exciting.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate that. I try real hard to kind of, I don't know, be pretty versatile. I don't obviously want to do blast beats everywhere. I care about groove. I care about interesting fills. I care about just I would like a drum part to sound interesting on its own and serve the music. So I appreciate that. Someone's noticing it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's absolutely my style of playing as well, too, because I like doing blast beats in certain parts, and I think that they can make a good sounding part sound even better when you do it right. But if that's all you do, then things are just going to become monotonous. So when you do focus on trying to create drum parts that are exciting to listen to, exciting to play, being able to show off your style, but overall still play for the song, I mean, you got that nailed down, and it's so cool to see that.
Thank you so much.
Oh, of course. And you know, thinking about that now, I mean, of course, we're a few months away from the 1-year release since Veil of Imagination when it originally came out. I mean, what is that like now? I mean, when you were sitting on the material that long, and now looking back and noticing it's going to be out for a year in a couple months.
Yeah, you know, I have a love-hate relationship with listening to my own to Wilderun stuff. Honestly, like, when I go into the studio, I play it, and you know, I get real pumped about what happened, and then I sit with the material. I start to notice little nitpicky things that hopefully nobody else is noticing. So it's there. a year after. Sorry about the siren. I don't know if
not
you
a
hear
problem.
that. I live right next to a fire department. But yeah, coming up on a year, I'm actually kind of, noticing little things here and there that I wish I could have gotten better. And I also sit with the material and practice on my own in my own free time, and I end up kind of making new parts that kind of I wish I can go back into the studio and redo them, basically.
I can see that, especially when you are sitting on the material for so long. I mean, you might come up with cooler fills or cooler ideas when it comes to the drum patterns or using different cymbals. I mean, the more that you sit on the material, the more that you do have different ideas that can come to mind.
Totally. And even there's some sections and songs where I've changed the beat completely for live setting, which I guess helps with keeping things fresh live too, and providing a different experience for anybody who shows up. There's actually a part in Haunting Veins from Olden Tales in TapDetroit where I added like a reggaeton groove in the first verse. It's a silly time, but I think it keeps things interesting.
Oh yeah, and that makes it more exciting to actually be able to see you guys live too. I mean, the fact that you're obviously playing the songs off the records that you guys have recorded, but being able to give it a different experience too. I mean, as long as you're able to keep the BPMs going and you're still able to make the songs the way that they should sound live, I mean, why not have some fun with it and being able to switch it up?
Totally, and it's also fun. It's also fun doing different things on the fly, and then seeing your own band members turn around and look at you and give you that look like, oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and it's great when they do notice that too, because I know sometimes when you're in a band and you think you come up with something really cool, and the rest of the band won't even pay attention to what you're doing. So when they do notice what you're doing, I mean, that's a sign that you're doing something right, according to the band. And it's great to see that the other members of the band do care about that.
Yeah, totally. And actually, an interesting little tidbit is Evan, our main vocalist, songwriter guy at front. He's also a drummer, and he actually went to school with me for drums. So he's got obviously a huge ear for that kind of stuff too. So I always like to challenge myself to try to find something that he'll actually notice.
Oh yeah, and especially when you got someone else in the band that can play the same instrument that you do too. I mean, just being able to either you're one-ing up them, or it's like, oh, that was a really cool thing that you did, or whatever the case is, being able to have fun with it that way as well.
Yeah, totally, absolutely.
So with that in mind, I mean, what are you currently using for a setup?
I have a Tama. I am terrible with my gear. Star Classic Virtual Bingo. That's what it is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I do Sabian AAX cymbals when I can afford it. That's the kind of gear that I like. And I actually just added I just swapped out my old Tama Iron Cobra bell pedals. I had those for 16 years. I just swapped out with the new Dynasync direct drive pedals, which are really working out well for me. So I'm hoping that can kind of up my game a little bit.
Oh, totally. So thinking about that, I mean, when you have those heavy duty Iron Cobras that you've been using for almost 2 decades, I mean, what's that like being able to, completely switch that up and go direct drive?
It's an interesting experience. I sat down in the store. I wasn't even looking. I thought I was just going to continue with Iron Cobra forever because I just gotten used to it. It's been working for me. And actually, I do a technique that that very much for me requires the feel to be just perfect. I do a heel toe. So I wasn't looking for a new pedal, and I sat down and just for shits and giggles and played this Dynasync pedal, and immediately it kind of revealed how old my pedals were in that moment.
Oh yeah, and I can totally see that happening too. I mean, I can imagine that there's so much resistance that's built up from being able to have the Iron Cobras that long, and they're already heavy duty to begin with. So when you're able to switch to something else, and especially with direct drive, where you're able to angle everything perfectly, you're able to get that tension right on there. I mean, when you can get those things set, I mean, your feet can just fly.
Yeah, totally. There are parts in some of our stuff that I can play through, but just at the end of the phrase. I'm starting to get a little tired. I'm glad I'm getting to a softer part. And I've been playing through some of the older stuff, and the fatigue isn't happening in the same way. So I'm really excited, and I hope I can take these things and use them on the road soon.
Oh yeah, really hoping for that as well too. Just being able to get back to some kind of normalcy, and just being able to, for yourself being able to play shows, and for myself being able to go to shows again, and just being able to have that live music again. Because 2020 has just felt really empty when it comes to music, knowing that there's no tours being announced, there's no shows going on, and I can just imagine that being a struggle in many ways for you guys.
Yeah, the year lost of time, and it's really kind of personally frustrating. I'm sure it is for the rest of the members of the band. We just got signed, and then the world shut down. So it's like momentum, and then nothing. So I'm just hoping that we can survive long enough, and people will still care.
Honestly, I think this is a great time to be able to re-release Veil of Imagination, because so many people are stuck at home right now, and they're not able to go places or do a lot of things. So if you care about music, you're able to sit down and listen to music more. And for so many people, with Century Media having such a long, great legacy, when they see a new name pop up on there and they're able to check you guys out, I think that's just perfect timing, because there's not much else to do during the day unless you're forced to go to work or something. So when you check out new music, I think it's a great time to be able to release it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I myself have been kind of, spending my time listening to new music, basically kind of just spending a lot of time checking out my new label mates and getting excited about that. So yeah, I hope that is the case, that people are able to listen to it and still get, some kind of excitement out of it. Hopefully want to come out to a show whenever everything gets back to normal.
Oh, totally. And that's another reason why I'm so excited that you guys were able to join up with Century Media, because they have such a diverse label with so many different kinds of acts on it. And of course, you guys are so diverse with the different sounds that you guys are able to do just in one song, let alone an album. So, it's great that you have all these different things. And I think that could help a lot of people that are familiar with Century Media and not familiar with you guys yet. There might be some parts from a Century Media band that they hear in you guys, and it gets them excited to be able to check you guys out.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting you mention that, because some of our biggest influences are on Century Media, so it's definitely an interesting thing to be able to be, to stand with giants, I guess is, the phrase I would use. It's very exciting.
Oh, totally. So, with that in mind, obviously, you were mentioning before, you were still working and stuff during this, and of course I imagine that you also have some more time to be able to do different things when it comes to music. Since coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Veil of Imagination and being able to know the songs and keep those songs even longer, has anything begun with the next album yet?
I don't know how much I guess I should probably talk to the guys about this type of questions, but we have been working on new material. Cool. Basically demoing out some stuff. Things are coming along. Actually, I live in North Carolina, and most of the rest of the guys live in Massachusetts. Wayne lives in California, but I'm going to be going up shortly, driving up the East Coast, and we're going to be working on new material. We're going to be hanging out and kind of just, hammering out some parts. Long story short, new material is coming along.
Oh, that's so cool. And again, with so much downtime that's going on in the world right now, it does seem like it's a great time to be able to focus on new material. No matter the band, because when you got so much time to be able to focus on writing, and you don't have to worry about the other sides of business, like being able to tour and booking live shows. You can focus on new material. That way, when shows are able to come back up again, you got so much new material to be able to pick from in the set list.
Yeah, but that is true, but it's kind of interesting because the material we're working on, actually, if I'm correct, it predates the band.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's kind of like material that Evan had just written for himself, and we didn't really necessarily know if it was going to fit our sound. So we've just been kind of sitting on it, not as labeled as not Wilderun material, but kind of how our trajectory has been over, our past 3 albums, it's looking like it's gonna fit. So that's, so it is predating Wilderun, and I hope I don't piss off Evan by saying that.
Oh, but to me that's so cool. I mean, the fact that you're able to use older material or write new material or something that was left off the last album and it can go to the next album. I mean, it shows that as long as something has some potential to be good material, you can always keep it around and be able to use it on an album.
Yeah, and it also goes to show that Evan's he's not one who runs into writer's block often. He's so far Olden Tales, Sleep, and Veil. I believe Sleep was already written and ready to go before we even recorded Olden. And I think Veil was getting ready to go when we were recording Sleep. So we've not run into a situation yet where we're like, all right, we got to put out an album. We have to write material now. We've always had stuff ready to go. So as far as working on new material and during the pandemic and stuff, it's interesting. We're not running into a situation where we're like, okay, we have all this free time now, let's start writing because we've already written. So yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it's great to be able to have all of that music going together, because I know a lot of bands do hit that writer's block, and when they do have that time set aside to be able to write material, sometimes it will never come to them, and they might even just have to write stuff in the studio to be able to fill out an album. And the fact that you guys are, it's already happened so far, being able to work on the next album before you record the previous album. I mean, that's just so cool to see that you have so much material to work with.
Yeah, and as a member who doesn't really write anything so far in the band, it's reassuring. I'm not gonna. I always feel like I'm in good hands in this project. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. And but between all of you guys, I mean, it's just incredible to see the musicianship between all of you. And of course, with Evan's songwriting and the rest of you guys being able to fill that out and being able to add your own little styles to it as well too, and just making those songs even better. I mean, the musical chemistry that you guys have together, I mean, everything that I've seen from live clips and of course the albums, I mean, it's just great to be able to see what you guys can do together.
Yeah, it's definitely a good group of guys. It's kind of interesting when we went to record the first album, Olden. I don't remember us even planning on being a band when we went into the studio. We just wanted to record a folk metal album. And then by the time we were done with it, we were like, this chemistry is awesome. Let's just keep it going, So it's kind of fun how you run into that.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, I mean, it's funny how it can work out like that too. I mean, being able to get together like that, work on an album and realize that chemistry is there, and then being able to see where you guys have gone to this point. And, now looking at it in 2020, I mean, obviously a lot of downsides, like not being able to tour, not being able to show yourself off in different areas in 2020. But the fact that there's so much to look forward to once things get back to normal. I mean, the fact that you got the backing of Century Media, you got Veil of Imagination that you're able to show off to a wider crowd now, the next album when that eventually comes out, and being able to do the touring that comes along with that. I mean, even though it might seem a bit way down, I mean, there's so much stuff that's coming up in the pipeline to keep things interesting and keeping fans like myself very motivated to see what you guys do next.
Yeah, well, I'm excited that people are excited about it. We have some stuff planned for next year, tentatively. I think we're allowed to talk about this. We've said in other interviews, but we have a tour with Soilwork and Neighbor of the in Europe. But
that's
one thing I'm worried
a perfect bill.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I said that's a perfect bill.
Yeah, we're excited. We're really excited about it, and really hoping it happens. I'm still a bit worried about the COVID stuff, and I saw a post, I think it was yesterday, talking about how the European Union is thinking about not allowing travel from the U.S. specifically. That's really starting to worry me. I gotta be honest. But
Yeah, that's all the more reason why I'm hoping the higher ups around the world and scientists are able to find a way to be able to control this thing within the year, even if it's not perfect, but just being able to have this virus die down so we can get back to some kind of normalcy again. And I can just imagine, like you guys getting on such an amazing bill like that. I mean, I would hate to see you guys not be able to get that opportunity, because between both of those bands, I imagine both crowds would absolutely love you guys over in Europe.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of crossover, so it would be really exciting to get exposed to that crowd, and also play with such talented musicians in those two bands. I'm really excited.
Oh yeah,
but hopefully it happens.
Oh, totally. And just between both of those bands, I mean, they got two of the best drummers going right now when it comes to progressive music, and then being able to throw you on there too, and just being able to see that in a live setting. I mean, the fact that you can say that you're able to tour with bands like that, I mean, just keeping that positivity going, hoping everything goes the way that it's supposed to, and you can just think about something like this months down the road when you guys are hopefully able to do that tour, and just realize that being so thankful that everything was able to come together and make that tour happen.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. Those two guys in Soilwork and Nabla the Scares, they're ridiculous. I followed them on Instagram, and it's just like, whoa. It's intimidating.
Oh, it's very intimidating. I mean, especially when I watch it myself too, but that also gets me inspired too, because, I mean, with the insane BPMs that they can hit and the fills and the time signatures that they're able to pull off, I mean, it makes me want to be able to try out different ideas, not necessarily replicating them, but like give me ideas of what I can do to better myself.
Totally. Very, very inspiring.
Oh, awesome. And, I think with that, I think that's an amazing note to end on. I mean, hopefully a lot of good things to happen for you guys in 2021 and beyond. And, until then, I mean, the fact that Veil of Imagination is getting re-released through Century Media on July 17th, I love this album, and I know so many people are going to be able to discover you guys now from the fact that Century Media was able to pick you guys up and get even more of that recognition that you guys deserve. And again, thank you very much for being able to talk to me about everything, from drums to the future to Veil of Imagination and in the past. I mean, it was so much cool stuff to be able to talk about, and I appreciate you taking the time for it.
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. It was really good talk. Appreciate you calling.